All right, let's talk about something that, for a lot of people, sounds, well, kind of terrifying: group therapy. We're going to pull back the curtain and look at what actually happens in that room. You know this image, right? We've all seen it in the movies. You're in the hot seat, under a spotlight, with a circle of strangers just waiting for you to spill your guts. It's no wonder the idea makes us anxious. But what if that whole picture is just completely wrong? Because here's the reality: it completely flips the script. You walk in fearing judgment and feeling like you have to perform, but what you actually find is presence and acceptance. You think it's about being forced to confess secrets, but it's really about the incredible feeling of being truly known. That fear of being put on the spot, it gets replaced by this huge sense of relief when you realize you found a safe space to just explore. So, here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with that big contrast between the fear and the reality. Then we'll walk through the whole journey, step by step, from that first day of just showing up to how safety gets built, how you go deeper, and how the group becomes this amazing practice space for real life, all leading to a pretty incredible transformation. So let's really dive into that first big idea. At its core, group therapy is all about learning to be present. It's not about putting on a show. And what does presence even mean here? Well, it means you can finally take all that pressure off. You don't have to have the right thing to say. You don't need the most dramatic story. The whole point is to just learn how to be with yourself and with other people in the here and now. It's a skill, and it's something you learn together. So, how does this whole thing kick off? It starts with one simple, brave step: just showing up. Let's talk about what that very first session is actually like. Your first session is not an interrogation. Far from it. Honestly, the main goal is just for you to notice what it feels like to even be in the room. You'll probably hear other people admit that they're nervous too, which is instantly like, oh, thank goodness. You'll go over the basic rules, like confidentiality, that make the room safe. And maybe the biggest discovery of all, that little voice in your head saying, I don't belong here? Yeah, you'll realize pretty quickly that almost everyone else is hearing that same voice. And this journey, it has a natural rhythm to it. After that first week of just showing up, the next several weeks are dedicated to one thing: building safety. It's only after that trust is really there that the group starts to go a bit deeper. And then, down the line, you get to the integration phase, where you're taking all this stuff and applying it to your life. See? It's a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, this next phase is absolutely crucial: building safety. This is where the real work begins. And believe it or not, it actually starts to change the wiring in your brain. It all starts with really small risks. Maybe someone shares something that feels a little vulnerable, like, I don't know, a frustration with their boss. And the group's response is everything. Instead of getting a bunch of unsolicited advice or judgment, they just get curiosity. People are just present with them. And here's the amazing part: every single time that happens, every time a small risk is met with acceptance, your brain is literally building new neural pathways. That old story that so many of us carry around, that deep-seated fear that says, if people really knew me, they'd run for the hills, it starts to crack. You're rewriting that story with actual lived proof. So once that foundation of safety is rock solid, something starts to shift naturally. The group as a whole starts to find the courage to move beyond the surface level stuff and into their real stories. This is when the bigger things might start to come out. And it's so important to get this. It's not because anyone is being pushed or prodded. It just happens organically because the group has proven week after week that it's a safe place to land. The goal isn't for the group to fix you, it's for them to just stay with you. And this changes the whole idea of confession, right? It's not about shamefully admitting you did something wrong. In this space, confession is the healing act of just letting yourself be seen, all of you, by a community that has already decided they aren't going anywhere. Now we get to my favorite part. The group becomes this incredible laboratory for your real life. It's a place to safely experiment with brand new ways of relating to other people. And here's why it works so well. The way you are out there is the way you're going to be in here. It's inevitable. All those little patterns you have, maybe you get defensive or you shut down or you try to please everyone, they are absolutely going to show up in your interactions inside the group. But for the first time, you get to see them in a new light. And this is what it might sound like. It's not an attack. It's a gentle, curious observation. Hey, I noticed something. When I was sharing, the subject changed pretty quickly. I was just wondering what was going on for you in that moment. It's an invitation to look at your own stuff, but with compassion, not shame. So the process is actually really simple, but it's so powerful. First, one of your old patterns shows up. Then, the group helps you see it, not with judgment, but with kindness. And finally, right then and there, in that safe room, you get to practice a totally new way of responding. It's like a rehearsal for your life. So let's bring this all home. Let's look at what this whole journey adds up to. What is the final amazing transformation we're talking about? Well, the change is just massive. You walk in on week 1, and your only goal is just to survive the hour without making a fool of yourself. But by week 20, your whole goal has changed. You're not just trying to survive anymore. You are actively practicing what it feels like to be fully alive and fully known. And in the end, the whole experience just points back to this one fundamental human truth. We don't heal in a vacuum. We really, truly become ourselves together, not alone. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. After seeing this whole journey from fear to freedom, what would it really mean in your own life to be fully known and still be accepted?